Remember how we were saying that robots were going to be like everywhere eventually?
Yeah.
Well, eventually is looking more and more like right now.
That's happening so fast.
Especially in China.
Yeah.
We found this article in the Global Times, and it's all about this startup, AgiBot.
Huh?
And they're already making like a ton of humanoid robots.
Mass production.
Yeah. Almost 1,000 by the end of next year.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
That's incredible.
I mean, that's like 2 years ahead of when Elon Musk said Tesla would be mass producing their Optimus robot.
Right. He said 2026.
2 years, that's a huge lead.
Huge. In tech, that's a lifetime.
It really makes you wonder, like, what are they doing differently over there?
Right. What's driving that difference?
What do you think? What's behind AgiBot's timeline?
Well, it could be a couple things.
Okay.
First, they might just want to get their robots out there fast. Like, even if they're not as, how should I put it?
Like, as fancy?
Yeah. Fancy as Teslas.
No.
Which is supposed to have those really, amazing hands. Super dexterous.
Oh, yeah.
The second thing is, it just shows how much China is pushing robotics.
Yeah.
Like, this is a major industry for them, a priority.
So it's kind of like two different strategies then.
Yeah.
AgiBot's like, get them out there, get them working.
Right.
And Tesla's like, make them the best, even if it takes longer.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, interesting.
Two totally different approaches.
And that difference is going to change how the whole robotics world develops.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to watch.
I know. This article, by the way, it paints a pretty wild picture of that AgiBot factory.
Really?
Robots working right next to the human workers.
Oh, wow.
On the production line.
I always picture those old school car factory robots,
Yeah, the big arm things.
Totally.
But this is like totally different.
Next level.
And they even have like a whole separate thing. They call it a data collection factory where the robots are like learning how to do everyday stuff.
All kind of stuff.
Like folding clothes, cleaning. It's crazy. It's like straight out of a movie.
Yeah, a sci-fi movie. Except it's real.
I know. It's pretty freaky, actually.
Yeah, a little bit.
But also kind of cool,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I have to ask, though, like, how does what AgiBot's doing fit into the bigger picture of Chinese robotics?
Well, they're a perfect example, really, of how much progress China's making overall.
Yeah.
Like, they're way ahead. The experts they quote in the article, guys like Hong Xiaodun and Wei Jiaxing, they say it's moving so fast.
Really?
They're going from these rough prototypes to actual robots.
Yeah.
Ready to go, like, almost overnight.
So it's not just hype.
No, this is real deal stuff.
Yeah.
Tangible products. And they're getting smarter all the time.
So what's fueling this, though? I mean, is it just that China's throwing a ton of money at research?
Oh, it's more than just the money, for sure.
Okay.
I mean, investment's part of it. But China's made these huge leaps in certain areas, like motion control.
Motion control, what is that exactly?
So that's basically how smoothly and accurately a robot moves.
Oh.
It's the tech behind all that. And they're also developing really advanced AI models.
Okay.
Which, lets the robots learn and adjust to new situations.
That's a lot to take in.
It is. It is.
So it's cutting edge tech. Plus, they're really focused on making the robots actually DO stuff.
Exactly. Not just, look cool in a lab.
Right. Practical stuff. So they're leading the way then.
They're definitely one to watch, that's for sure.
Okay. What about us, though? The U.S. I mean, the article said we still have some strengths in robotics.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But are we falling behind?
Well, we're still strong in precise manipulation.
Okay.
Like, if you need a robot to do something super delicate, like surgery or handle, I don't know, like a tiny little part.
Yeah.
We're still good at that.
Yeah.
Plus, our whole tech industry is strong, right?
Yeah.
So chips, cloud computing, all that stuff, which is, essential for advanced robots.
So China's not totally running away with it then?
No, not at all. There's a lot of competition and new stuff happening everywhere.
Okay, that's good to know.
It's definitely not a one-horse race. Like Wei Jiaxing, the expert in the article, he says that both the U.S. and China are making these big jumps in humanoid robotics.
At the same time?
Yeah, he thinks so. Both pushing each other forward.
Interesting. So does that mean we might see, like, collaboration between the two?
Potentially.
Or is it just going to be a big robot rivalry?
Ooh, good question. Because, things are a little tense between the U.S. and China right now, politically.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be a bit of both, honestly.
Both working together, A&D competing.
Yep. I mean, there's definitely space to work together on some things.
Like what?
Like figuring out ethical guidelines for robots,
Oh,
making sure the benefits are shared widely,
yeah.
that kind of thing. But yeah, no doubt they're going to be competing hard too.
It's a weird balance, right?
It is very complex. We'll see how it all plays out.
It'll be fascinating to watch, that's for sure. But okay, let's talk about this mass production idea for a sec.
Okay.
Sounds impressive, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, is it real? Like, does the market actually need all these robots yet?
That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are people, businesses, are they ready to have robots in their lives every day?
Exactly.
Because it's one thing to build them, but you got to sell them too.
Right. Someone's got to buy them.
And one of the experts in the article said it really well, I thought. He said that for mass production to actually work, you need two things.
What are they?
Mature tech, so the robots actually work well.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
And you need strong use cases.
Oh, meaning?
Meaning places where those robots can really solve a problem or add value.
Okay.
So it's not just about like building cool robots.
It's got to have a purpose.
Exactly. And figuring out those purposes, that's where things get really interesting.
I can't wait to hear more. But we're going to have to save that for part 2 of our deep dive.
All right. Looking forward to it.
So we were talking about those use cases, right?
Yeah. Where robots can actually make a difference.
Where do you see the most potential for that, for robots being part of our lives?
Ooh, man, so many places it's hard to pick.
Yeah.
But some jump out right away, like manufacturing.
Oh, right. Of course.
I mean, factories have used robots forever, but...
Yeah, but those are mostly like...
those big arms, welding, moving stuff.
Yeah.
This is different. Humanoid robots, they're more adaptable.
Dexterous, we were saying.
Exactly. So they could totally change how we make stuff.
Like, I'm picturing robots and humans, like, working side by side.
Totally.
Robots doing the boring or, dangerous stuff.
Right. Dangerous, for sure.
And people can do the more, I don't know, specialized stuff.
Yeah. Or the creative stuff. A real partnership.
Like a team.
And it's not just, like, getting more done faster. It's about keeping people safe. Robots can work where it's risky,
Oh, right. Like mines.
Mines, chemical plants, all that.
Okay, yeah. Makes sense. What about beyond factories, though?
That's where it gets fun.
The article mentioned healthcare and entertainment, right?
Yeah. Those are totally different.
Pretty diverse, yeah.
But it shows how versatile these new robots are. Like in healthcare.
Yeah.
They could help surgeons, take care of older people, even assist with, like, physical therapy.
Wow.
And entertainment, forget about it.
Yeah.
Theme parks, museums, maybe even performing.
Like robot actors.
Hey, why not? Or imagine a robot playing the piano at a concert.
That'd be wild.
Right. The possibilities are, like...
endless.
endless. And as the tech gets better, it'll only get more wild.
I know, it's exciting. But I guess one thing that worries me is, like...
what?
will they be reliable, you know? What about safety?
Oh, that's key.
Yeah.
The article talked about efficiency, stability.
Right.
Those are still issues. I mean, these robots, they're still kind of new.
They're still learning, yeah.
Exactly. There's work to do before we can really trust them out in the world, doing complicated things.
So it's not enough for them to move like us, think like us.
Yeah.
They got to do it right every time.
Consistently. And without messing up big time.
Because a mistake could be.
Yeah. It could be bad news.
That's a lot of pressure on the engineers.
Oh, yeah. It's not easy making a robot do a task once in a lab.
Right.
It's got to do it thousands of times in all sorts of situations without fail.
That's a tough challenge.
For sure. But that's where things get really interesting, engineering-wise.
It's like a whole different level. Speaking of which, the article also talked about China developing specialized chips.
Oh, yeah, for the robots, right.
Yeah.
How big of a deal is that?
Oh, that's huge.
It is.
Huge. Most robots now, they run on regular computer chips,
Like the ones in our phones and stuff?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But those aren't made for robots specifically.
So they're not as good. They're not optimized, no. Robots need a ton of processing power,
For all that motion control and AI.
Exactly. Plus, sensor stuff, machine learning, it adds up.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So China's giving their robots an upgrade, basically.
Yeah, it's like a brain that's designed just for robots.
Like tailored to what they need to do?
Exactly. It's not JST about being faster either.
No.
It's also about efficiency. These chips can use less power.
Oh, so the robots can run longer.
Yeah, longer battery life.
Yeah.
Especially for ones that get to work on their own for a long time.
Ah, I see. That's a big deal.
It could change the whole industry, honestly.
So China's motion control, their AI, now these chips.
Yep.
Sounds like they're serious about this robot stuff, huh?
Oh, totally. They want to be #1
Yeah.
globally. Not just in making robots, but in, like, innovating.
Hmm. It's like a whole new kind of space race, almost.
You got it. But instead of the moon,
It's robots.
robots. And the winner, they're going to have a huge advantage in, like, everything. Manufacturing, healthcare, maybe even defense.
Wow. High stakes.
It's super high. It's like whoever controls the robots controls the future.
Whoa, that's intense.
Hmm.
But hold on, didn't the article say something about maybe the U.S. and China working together?
Oh, yeah, it did mention that.
So it's not all competition.
Not necessarily. There are areas where it makes sense to team up.
Okay.
Like those ethical guidelines we were talking about,
Uh-huh.
making sure data's handled right, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, these challenges are global, right?
Yeah.
No one country's got all the answers.
True. So there's hope for cooperation.
There is.
Okay.
But let's be real, they both see each other as rivals. Big time.
So what happens then? I mean, what are the implications of this rivalry?
Well, one thing that could happen is, like, a tech split.
A split.
Yeah. The U.S. and China developed their own era robot stuff, separate. Different standards, different ways of doing things. And then their robots might not even work with each other.
Oh, I see. That's not good.
It could slow down progress,
Yeah.
limit what robots can do overall.
So instead of one big robot world sharing ideas,
We end up with two little ones, each doing their own thing.
not ideal.
Not ideal at all. That's why it's important to find ways to, bridge that gap, work together.
Yeah, so robots can help everyone.
Exactly. Not just one country or one company.
Okay, that makes sense. We've talked a lot about what robots could do.
Yeah.
But what about the downsides? Are there risks to all this?
Oh, for sure. We got to be honest about that.
Like what worries you?
Well, one of the big ones is jobs.
Jobs.
Yeah. As robots get better, they could do a lot of jobs that humans do now.
And then people lose their jobs.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
It could be a big disruption economically.
That's scary, especially for people in like factories or driving trucks, delivery.
Yeah, those are the first ones probably.
So how do we like get ready for that?
That's the million-dollar question. No easy answers, but we got to focus on education, training people for the jobs of the future.
Jobs that robots can't do.
Right, or jobs where humans and robots work together,
So it's not us versus them.
Nope. It's about figuring out how we both succeed.
Robots helping us.
Exactly. Enhancing what we can do, freeing us up for more creative stuff, fulfilling stuff.
Okay, I like that. But jobs are just one worry, right?
What about privacy, security?
Oh, yeah.
And what if robots get used for bad stuff?
Ooh, that's a whole other can of worms.
It is. And it's why safeguards are so important.
Safeguards, meaning?
Rules, guidelines, ethics. We got to figure out how to make sure robots are used responsibly.
That's got to be tough.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Researchers, policymakers, ethicists, they're all working on it right now.
We need those rules in place before robots get too smart.
100%. Got to be proactive, not reactive.
So it's not just on the tech people to figure this out.
No way. This affects all of us. It's a societal thing. We all got to be part of the conversation.
A lot to think about.
It is. But you know what? I think this is a really exciting time.
It is.
Yeah. It's like we're seeing a whole new era starting, and we can help make it good.
Yeah, that's true. But there's a lot of responsibility, too.
Ugh, huge responsibility.
Yeah.
But hey, that's what makes it so interesting.
Right. We're not just along for the ride.
Exactly. And that's a perfect lead-in to our next part.
Part 3.
Where we get really deep into the ethics, the societal impact, all that good stuff.
Can't wait. So we've talked about all the crazy progress happening in robotics, especially in China. And we've touched on, like, what's good about it, what's maybe a little scary.
Right, the risks.
But I want to go deeper on the ethics now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because it seems like there's a lot to think about there.
Absolutely. As robots get, more and more like us, smarter,
Yeah.
the ethical stuff, it just gets more important.
It's not just about the tech anymore.
Right, it's about how we use it.
And what it does to society, to jobs, to, like, I don't know.
To everything, really.
To everything. Like, even what it means to be human,
Oh, yeah, that's the big one.
When the machines start acting like us.
It's kind of freaky, right?
It is. Like, all that sci-fi stuff we used to watch, it's becoming real.
It's happening right now.
And it's bringing up all these questions nobody has the answers to.
Like, what happens to jobs when robots can do them?
Right.
How do we make sure everybody benefits from this, not just, like, the rich tech people?
Yeah, those are big questions.
They are. And there's no easy answer.
I feel like we're just starting to figure this stuff out.
We are. It's going to take a lot of thinking, a lot of discussion.
And probably some new rules, too.
Oh, for sure. Guidelines, frameworks,
Yeah.
to help us navigate all this.
This is new territory, right? No one's done this before.
Exactly. It's uncharted waters.
Speaking of new stuff, the article mentioned that dexterous hand AgiBot's working on.
Oh, yeah, right.
Is that like the big focus in robotics right now? Getting the hands right?
It's one of the big ones, for sure.
Because...
Well, if you want robots to do all the things we do...
Yeah.
They got to be able to handle stuff.
Yeah.
Like, delicately, precisely.
Pick things up, use tools.
Exactly. And that's hard to do.
It's way harder than it looks.
Way harder.
Our hands, they're like mini miracles, basically.
They are. They are. It's one of the biggest challenges in robotics, getting that right.
And that's another difference between AgiBot and, like, Tesla, right?
Yeah. Good point.
AgiBot, they're like, get the robots out there, even if they're basic.
Yeah, quick and simple.
And Tesla's taking their time aiming for that, like, super advanced human-like robot.
Even if it takes years longer.
Right, like two different philosophies.
Totally. And it'll be interesting to see who wins out in the end.
Or if maybe they both succeed.
Could be. Could be. The market's big enough for both, maybe.
We'll have to see, I guess.
Definitely.
But going back to the ethics, the human-like robots specifically.
Yeah.
Are there, like, extra concerns there? Because they look like us.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like what?
Well, as they get more capable, more like us, it's going to get blurry.
They're just like us.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do we treat them?
That's the question.
Like, if a robot can feel pain...
Or have emotions.
Yeah, is it different than just a machine?
That's where it gets deep, philosophical, almost.
It's a lot to wrap your head around.
It is. It is. And honestly, we're only starting to ask these questions.
We need to, though, right? Before it's too late.
Absolutely. While we're still developing this stuff.
We need to be careful, think about the consequences.
Not just rush ahead blindly.
It's a huge responsibility,
It is, but it's also exciting, I think.
Exciting.
Yeah. I mean, we're literally seeing the birth of a new era.
That's true.
And we get to be part of it, help shape it.
Make sure it goes in the right direction.
Exactly.
So what can people listening do? How can they be part of this?
Well, first, stay informed. Read, listen, learn about this stuff, all the new things happening.
Right, educate yourself.
Yeah, and then talk about it with friends, family, whoever.
Share your thoughts, your worries.
Exactly. And listen to what others think, too.
Have those conversations.
And then the big one, advocate for responsible innovation. Support the companies, the researchers, who are doing this the right way.
The ethical way.
Right, the ones who are thinking about the human side of it.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's about using this tech to make things better for everyone.
Not just for profit or power or whatever.
Exactly. And I think, hopefully, this deep dive has given people some tools,
to understand what's going on.
Yeah, it's complex, but fascinating.
You've covered a lot.
We have. From China's progress to the global competition.
The benefits, the risks, the ethics, it's a lot.
But it all boils down to this.
Yeah.
The future of robots, it's not set in stone.
It's up to us.
Yeah, it's a story we're all writing together.
And we need to make sure it has a happy ending.
Well said.
This has been awesome. I've learned a lot.
Me too. Always a good conversation.
And I bet our listeners have a lot to think about now.
I hope so. I hope so. But this is just the start.
Yeah, there's so much more to explore.
So keep learning, keep asking questions.
What else is coming? What's next?
The future of robots. It's literally in our hands.
And that's it for our deep dive. Thanks for listening.